Hey everyone, so here we have it. The iPhone 15 in this really nice blue, which has been my trusty backup phone for about a year now. And right next to it, the brand new iPhone 17 in this lavender color. And the big question, the one I've been getting a lot, is this. Is the jump from a phone that's still really good to this new one actually worth it? Is this the upgrade you've been waiting for? We're gonna figure that out today. Just for some context, this iPhone 15 isn't my main daily phone. It's my backup, my review unit. You know, the phone I throw in my bag, test beta software on, and use when my main phone is charging. I've had it since October of last year, so about a year. And as you can see, battery health is still at a perfect 100% after 208 cycles, which is pretty solid. This iPhone 17, on the other hand, has been my secondary daily driver for about a week. The battery is of course at 100% with just under 10 cycles, so I've had some really good hands-on time to feel the differences. So in this video, we'll talk about what made the iPhone 15 special when it came out. Then we'll get into the nitty-gritty comparison, the design, and crucially, the display. We'll look at performance, run some benchmarks, stock cameras, and of course, the new iOS 26 experience. We'll also touch on Apple Intelligence or the lack of it on the 15. Finally, I'll give you my honest thoughts on who should upgrade. So yeah, let's get into it. Before we jump into the iPhone 17, I think it's really important to remember what a big deal the iPhone 15 was for the base model. I mean, this was the phone that finally killed the notch and brought the dynamic island to everyone, a feature that had previously been exclusive to the Pro models. It really felt like a huge design refresh, making the standard iPhone feel much more modern and integrated with the software. It also got that massive camera upgrade to the 48 megapixel main sensor, which was a hand-me-down from the 14 Pro. This was more than just a numbers game. By using the power of computational photography and the detail from that large sensor, Apple was able to offer a new 2x telephoto option. This effectively gave users 3 optical quality zoom levels, 0.5x, 1x, and 2x for the first time ever on a dual camera iPhone, which was a genuinely useful feature for everyday photography. And of course the big one, the switch to USB-C. It was a long time coming, but it finally unified the charging standard across Apple's devices and the wider tech world. It just made life easier. So the iPhone 15 wasn't just an incremental update. It set a new, much higher baseline for what a standard iPhone could be. Okay, so holding them side by side, the in-hand feel is honestly very similar. The iPhone 15 has that nice contoured edge on its aerospace-grade aluminum enclosure and the color-infused matte back glass, which still feels premium till now. The 17 feels largely the same, but it inherits 2 key differences from the Pro models of last year: the customizable action button here on the side and the new camera control button for quick photo and video access. These are nice to haves that add a bit more functionality and bring the base model closer to the Pro experience. But let's be real, the design isn't the story here. The display is for the first time ever on a standard iPhone. We have a ProMotion display that can adapt its refresh rate from as low as 1 Hz all the way up to 120 Hz. And I cannot overstate this. It is a complete game changer for the base model. Using the iPhone 15 with its 60Hz screen is fine, it's smooth, Apple's animations are well optimized, and for most people, it gets the job done. But once you use this 120Hz screen on the 17, going back feels, well, choppy. The difference is night and day. Everything from scrolling through social media to just swiping between home screens is so incredibly fluid and responsive. This single feature, more than anything else, finally makes the base model feel like a proper Pro phone. Apple also managed to shrink the bezels on the 17. So even though the screen is bigger at 6.3 inches compared to the 15 6.1 inches, the phone itself doesn't feel that much larger in the hand. It's a subtle change. You only really notice when they're next to each other, but the result is a screen that feels way more immersive and edge to edge. On top of that, the screen itself is just tougher. The 17 is using the new Ceramic Shield 2, which Apple says has 3 times better scratch resistance. And we've seen this play out in durability tests, like from Jerry-Rig Everything, where the screen held up really well, showing it's genuinely more resistant to scratches than older models. There's also a new anti-glare coating on the glass. It's not a massive change, but it does help reduce some of those annoying reflections when you're under direct light, which is a nice little quality of life improvement. And if you're outside a lot, the 17 gets significantly brighter. The iPhone 15 already had a great peak outdoor brightness of 2000 nits, which was double its predecessor. But the iPhone 17 pushes that even further to a peak of 3000 nits. Both are perfectly usable in direct sunlight, but the 17 just has that extra headroom that makes it even more comfortable to view. Now, let's talk power. The A16 Bionic chip in the iPhone 15 is even now an absolute beast. In my year of using it for day-to-day stuff, some pretty demanding gaming, it's never felt slow. Apps open fast, and swiping between them is smooth. And I think a big reason for that sustained performance is the 6 GB of RAM. I've said this before when re-reviewing older iPhones like the 12 or 13, which have 4 GB of RAM. While the processor is still capable, with today's more demanding apps, you start to see them reloading in the background more often. With 6 GB on the 15, that's much less of an issue. It's still a very capable phone. I ran Geekbench 6 on both phones to get some hard numbers. The iPhone 15 scored 2,626 on single core and 6,538 on multi-core. These are really respectable scores that hold up well today. But then you look at the new A19 chip in the iPhone 17, and it's just on another level. It pulled 3,573 on single core and 9,143 on multi-core. That is a massive leap in raw computational power. And this is where that ProMotion display comes back into play. That insane power on the 17 paired with the 120Hz screen makes everything feel instantaneous. It's that perfect marriage of silicone and screen that makes the entire experience feel so much faster and more responsive, even though the iPhone 15 is already very fast. The 120Hz display simply lets you see and feel that extra power in a way you can't on a 60Hz screen. Both of these phones are running the latest iOS 26, and I have to say, I'm a huge fan of this update. The new liquid glass design is more than just hype. The new animations and the overall user interface feel so modern and fluid. It's a genuine game changer. It honestly makes older versions like iOS 18 feel a bit dated. On my iPhone 15, it runs beautifully, buttery smooth. When I first updated, the phone got a little warm for a day or so, which I think was just the system re-indexing all the files to settle in. But now in my daily use, performance is great, and I don't see much of a gap from the older iOS. Battery life, from what I can tell, feels about the same as before. So if you're on an iPhone 15, this is a fantastic software update that really breathes new life into the device. Okay. But there's one big software feature the 15 doesn't get: Apple Intelligence. You need a newer chip to run it. Now for me, and this is just my opinion, this isn't a deal breaker right now. Apple Intelligence is still in its early days, kind of like a public beta, and it's still playing catch up to competitors in some areas. For my serious AI tasks, I'm usually using more powerful alternatives anyway, like Gemini or ChatGPT. So is it a reason to upgrade today? Probably not for most people, but the iPhone 17 is future-proof. You're ready for when Apple Intelligence gets really powerful in the years to come, and you'll be able to take advantage of all those features as they roll out and improve. Moving on to the cameras, the iPhone 17 now has a dual 48 megapixel system, upgrading the ultra-wide lens to match the main sensor's resolution. And it's a great camera system. The photos are sharp, detailed, and Apple's computational photography with the Photonic engine is as good as ever. But to be honest, compared to the already excellent 48 megapixel main camera on the iPhone 15, it's more of a solid incremental improvement rather than a massive leap for the rear system. It's better for sure, but the 15 still takes fantastic photos. The real story, and maybe the most fun upgrade on this phone, is the new front camera. It's an 18 megapixel sensor, but the crazy part is that it's a square sensor. What does that mean? It means you can take a landscape selfie or video without turning your phone sideways. It just works. It's one of those features that sounds like a gimmick until you use it. For a group selfie, the AI-powered center stage feature automatically expands the field of view and can even switch from portrait to landscape to include everyone in the frame, all while you're holding the phone vertically. It's gone viral for a reason, and I genuinely think we're gonna see every other phone company copy this. It's a truly functional upgrade that changes how you use the front camera. So what are the downsides or things you need to consider? For the iPhone 15, the biggest consideration today is that 60Hz screen. It's the one thing that really dates the phone compared to the competition. And even Apple's own new models, the performance is there, but the display holds it back from feeling as fast as it could. For the iPhone 17, the main consideration is simply the price. It's a significant investment for upgrades that, while amazing, are primarily centered around the display experience and that clever new front camera. So who should buy or upgrade to the iPhone 17? Here's my take. For users on an iPhone 13 or older, absolutely, this is a massive upgrade across the board. The performance, the dynamic island, the much improved camera system, and especially that 120Hz ProMotion display will make it feel like a completely new experience. It's a no-brainer. For current iPhone 15 users, this is tougher. Your phone is still fantastic, but if you are someone who is sensitive to screen smoothness, and you've been jealous of the Pro model's ProMotion display, this is the upgrade for you. If you're excited about that new front camera for social media or vlogging, and if you want to be on board for the future of Apple Intelligence, then yes, the iPhone 17 is a very compelling upgrade. For someone buying their first iPhone or deciding between the 15 and 17, if your budget allows, go for the 17. That ProMotion display is the single biggest quality of life feature Apple has, and getting it on the base model is a huge win. It will make your phone feel faster and more premium every single day you use it. So that's my take on the iPhone 15 versus the new iPhone 17. It's a really interesting comparison because the 15 is still so good, but the 17 brings those key pro features down to a more accessible price point, which is a huge win for consumers. But I'd love to know what you guys think. If you're using a 15, are you tempted to upgrade? If you have an older phone, is the 17 the one you've been waiting for? Let me know down in the comments. As always, thank you so much for watching, and I'll catch you in the next one.